Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Welcome, dear friends. The heart of being is ever present, and you are that. This view that all is one, or there is only one, can seem for a long time as we walk the spiritual path of our choice to be away from what we are experiencing. We seem to be experiencing a separate self, a separate being, a body, mind, and a world, a multiplicity made up of myriad people, experiences, sensations, thoughts, emotions, and so on. And this seems to not be in agreement with this understanding of the sages that all is one. This belief that we are separate, distinct, unique, is the work of the senses and the sense objects. So seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, thinking, emoting. These senses that we have seem to create the parameters or the container in which we experience everything. The whole entire world, the perceptions that we have come to us through this interaction of awareness with the senses and the sense objects. And just over time, we simply forget that these five senses and the mind, or the thinking capacity, actually creates a sense of limitation for us. We just accept it. This is the way it is. A finite being living in a finite world. So when we begin to walk on the spiritual way, we begin to challenge this assumption that we are limited to our thoughts, to our sensations, to the interpretations of the world that is perceived by mind. What spiritual awakening and spiritual life do for us is remind us that all of this is that. All of this, tasting, touching, seeing, hearing, thinking, feeling, experiencing, is rising in vast space. This vast space we call sometimes consciousness. Consciousness is that which you can only be and you cannot see. But just like your eye, which also can see, it cannot be seen. You can see everything around you, every object, but you cannot see your eye. You cannot see that which is seen. Consciousness has this characteristic. Through consciousness, in the waking state, we're able to be aware of all the objects around us. The light which shines through the eyes is the light of consciousness. This same light is what illuminates all the objects in our experience: tasting, touching, seeing, hearing, smelling, thinking, emoting, experiencing. This is all seen or experienced, if you will, through the light of consciousness itself. This is not something you can see. It is simply what you are. Whatever you are seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, experiencing, here now, in this moment, is visible only through the light of consciousness and awareness. When we begin this journey, you can say, back to the heart, we have to be willing for a period of time to either put aside our assumptions about what is real or to challenge them directly. If we put them aside, then we just remain quiet, silent, in faith. If we challenge them, then we say, who is thinking this thought? Who is seeing this object? What is aware here? What is real? In doing so, we create some space. Space between our assumptions and the awareness, which is aware of the objects. So the objects remain witnessed, observed. Their very reality is challenged by silence and by this question: who is thinking this thought? What is aware here? This changes the focus from the mind's attempt to manipulate the environment, either outside us or inside us, to a curiosity, an asking of the question, what is real here? You see, each of you has the capacity to understand through your own investigation what is real. And the mind, of course, which has been conditioned by experience over many, many years, will try to tell you what you see, taste, touch, smell, hear, think, and feel is real. The place where this breaks down, or the moment where this breaks down, it's perceived directly that there is nothing in taste, touch, smell, etc., mind and experience, which lasts. Anything you attempt to cling to in this moment will pass, no matter how hard you try to keep it here. It will pass. Noticing this, ask yourself, what doesn't pass? What doesn't change? Is there anything which does not change, which does not pass, which cannot be lost? Sincerely asking this question, or any one of these questions, you will come to see the heart of being, which is eternally here, now, and manifests in each of you as the simple knowing, I exist. That which is aware is here now. Recognizing this, settle into this heart of being, that which knows. Awareness is here now. Resting as awareness itself, without any interest in whatever stories or opinions you might have or the mind might have about tasting, touching, smelling, seeing, experiencing, thinking, and so on. You are slowly liberating yourself from these limiting experiences. Realizing that you are that which is always here as awareness itself. And let what comes come and let what goes go. Remain as you are, as being, consciousness, and bliss. All right, who would like to check in today? Anyone? No one? Everyone? Hello, Suresh. Hello.
Hello, Rishi. Um, I have a verse from the Ribu Gita, and I'm very interested in your commentary on it. So let me read the verse. It's from chapter 2, verse 33, and it says, so it's the Ribu Gita. It says, the universe was neither born, nor maintained, nor dissolved. The universe was neither born, nor maintained, nor dissolved. This is the plain truth. The basic screen of pure being awareness, stillness, devoid of all the moving shadow pictures of name and form of the universe, is the sole eternal existence. Chapter 2, verse 33.
Yes.
So it suggests that there's no phenomenality even in appearance. So I wonder if you
There's
could comment.
yeah, there's no self-existence, even in phenomenality. And this is what I was trying, maybe not quite so eloquently, to point to when I asked, what is it that doesn't change? We focus our attention is focused by habit, not we, but our attention is focused by habit and conditioning on the objects. And this necessarily creates a limiting structure, you can say, in which we say, this is me. But what the Gita is saying, and what I was hoping to point toward, is that when we withdraw from that belief system, okay, the habit can go on for a long period of time, but when we withdraw from that belief system, slowly what begins to happen is we begin to see the ground of being. And this is what this verse of the Gita is pointing toward, that there is this ground of being which is eternal, unborn, and that with there that which comes into or rises on, against that screen, that ground of being, uh, has no reality. But this doesn't mean, this is my commentary on it, this doesn't mean that it doesn't arise. Okay? It just means that it has no self-existing reality. It's rising as part of, you can say, conditional reality. But the truth is that all phenomenon are empty and their appearing to come and go is a matter of the perceiving quality that is inherent in seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, thinking, mind. These senses create for us this apparent world. But if we investigate any of the phenomenon in this world, this is really the purview of the Buddha's teaching in a way. The Buddha was very precise about looking at phenomenon and how they come and how they go and what the mind does with them and how the suffering arises out of the presence of phenomenon which are believed to be real. And so this is a this is a deeper part of the Buddha's teaching and Buddhist practice, is to look at phenomenon and in order that we can penetrate into the emptiness of the phenomenon themselves and see that they have no inherent selfness. And by doing so, we come face to face with the broader reality or the screen or the emptiness or the suchness of being. And this is what this verse of the Gita is pointing toward. That this is the prior condition, you can say.
Mhm. So the verse says stillness devoid of all the moving
Mhm.
shadow pictures of name and form.
Yes,
So to make it a little bit simpler, say I see a mirage, I'm driving, I see a mirage of water. Now I do see it, it appears, but as I get closer to the mirage, I realize it never was there, it disappears.
yes,
Now
yes. There
that's
was nothing.
one appearance, one model of appearance. The other model is, what they call the ghost in the post. At night,
Yes,
I'm walking home and I see a ghost instead of the post. Uh, but on closer scrutiny, there never was a ghost. It was just a superimposition on the post, or so
yes.
it wasn't even an appearance. Um, I don't know if I'm parsing this too fine, but you're suggesting it's more the mirage model rather than the post and the ghost model.
I use the mirage metaphor much
Okay,
more frequently. Yes, that's for me and my experience, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So we're not debating that the appearance is there. We're simply saying it has no substantiality of its own. In other words, the mirage depends not only on the circumstances being correct in the environment, it also depends on this apparent me being there,
yeah,
you see? And the fact that there is this me apparently here is what makes that mirage possible,
right, right,
the observer.
right, right,
So in this case, yes, this is absolutely right. There is no appearance there. There's no there, but we also acknowledge that it is the play of the senses and the mind that interprets itself to be a me that makes the whole display on the screen of consciousness possible.
Uh, when there's no projection at all, say as in samadhi, at that point there's no phenomena, right? Like in deep sleep.
Are you asking, or is that coming from your experience?
Asking.
Uh,
As in deep sleep, there's no phenomena yet, there's existence, but the mind
yes,
is completely subsided and is
yes,
not projecting.
yes. So, well, this of course depends on the type of samadhi that we're talking about. In the early stages of samadhi, there is definitely the senses are open and aware, but there's no response to them, right? This is the earlier stages of samadhi. So, it's in the later or deeper stages of samadhi when all the sense doors close and even the mind comes to a halt. It doesn't subside so much as, well, I guess subside is a good word. There's no sense awareness. There's none of the sense doors are open. Nothing is being used that the mind normally uses to perceive its surroundings. All that's perceived in deeper samadhi is awareness itself, or it's not awareness itself because you can't see awareness, can you? You can't
Right.
make awareness an object. So you can only be awareness, but in the deeper stages of samadhi, there is nothing to perceive. And so then this becomes much more like the deep sleep state, except that in the deep sleep state, there's not any alertness, you can say. It's a void without presence. But in the deeper stages of samadhi, this presence is not experienced as a voidness, but as a beingness. Um, all of this practice that we do and these principles or that we hear about or read about or learn about or talk about have been given to us by the sages over the millennium to help us see that before I am, in other words, before any sense of I-ness arises, consciousness or awareness is there, and that it's there eternally, and it's there before we were born. It's here. Self-realization, self-recognition is our natural state. When all opinions and all beliefs are suspended in favor of the ground of being. This is why it's said that all of the spiritual practices and all of the spiritual pointers and directions that are given are really given for one purpose, and that is to bring the attention back from the mirage, back from the objects. We're not concerned so much anymore with the reality or unreality of the objects. We want to know about the seer. And this is what spiritual path and spiritual fulfillment actually is about, is understanding, seeing directly, perceiving, you can say, but it's more of a direct seeing even than a perception. It's a knowing that that which is aware, here as this, here as that, here as that and that and that and that and that and that, all of that is rising in this one consciousness, in this one presence. And that this sense of separation, which is created, you can say, or perceived, let's say perceived, by tasting, touching, smelling, hearing, seeing, thinking, emoting, experiencing, that this sense of separation is actually what is not real. And we can, from there, naturally come to the direct perception or understanding of that which is real, eternal, everlasting, ever present. These kinds of words are used. This is the awareness itself. So much so that as soon as, you've heard me say this before, Suresh, as soon as I ask you, are you aware? You don't need to think about that.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, you are aware. Yes,
Yeah.
this is always here. This never changes. This is why it's referred to as the real. That which is here. If you look back over a lifetime or decades of a lifetime, you can see all of the things that have come and gone, all the happiness, all the sadness, all the success, all the failure, everything that has happened as you've seen and has come and gone. Nothing really is here now that was here 10 years ago, that was here 10 years before that, was here 10 years before that, except the knowing of your own existence. That has always been here. And so this is why the encouragement keeps coming to turn toward that I exist position, if you will. Turn away from the mirage, turn toward the seer and investigate the seer. And this takes us to the source, back to the heart of being, where we have always been. And what this particular verse of the Gita is pointing toward, the Ripu Gita, is that direct perception that there is only this vast field of awareness, which is space-like, all-encompassing, center everywhere, circumference nowhere. This is what the Ripu Gita is pointing to, page after page after page for 600 pages. This is what the Gita is pointing toward.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you. So really, it doesn't matter if it's a mirage or a post in the ghost. The key is to turn the attention to the seer and not worry about whether it's a superimposition or a mirage.
Yes, I say so. Yes, that has been my experience. You can spend a long, long time going through all these metaphors and trying to see exactly what was, was it a snake or a rope? Is it a ghost or a post? Is it you can, these are here as pointers, but these are pointers that come to us, become necessary or useful to us only until we ask the question, who am I? Which is the question, who is the seer?
Right.
Hmm? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whenever we're exploring scripture and yeah, it's always important to remember that all practices in every religion, in every form of practice, uh, ultimately bring us to this question: who is the seer?
Thank you, Rishi.
Diana. Hello, hello. Hello, Paula.
So much was going on technical before this session, Rishi, and it was felt like there was a moment of feeling it was kind of disturbing also. and taking it to the heart of being, to the awareness. Am I aware of it? Was in peace. That's what I want to share at the beginning. At the beginning, and I'm in peace completely. And I would love to share with you that these silent answers you give to email or whatever, they do arrive completely. They do arrive completely, Rishi. It is like this. And this whole week was really reading the introduction of your book, the introduction. This is the essence of the essence for me. The complete essence. It needs nothing else. It's just so naturally clear, so simple and so clear. And yes, so I was aware of it, of awareness, each moment, and not as a practice or not as a sadhana, something like this. It is like you are revealing yourself to myself as yourself. This is, I
Very,
can say.
very good. Very good. Yes, very well put.
It's such a pressure. It's not no words for this pressure. And yes, this question, are you aware, or awareness is here now? It's just felt as the only and the best medicine for all. For all, for all. That's all I can say. It's usable for everything. And in the moment of being aware, it's just this one moment. And the awareness is fulfilled. It's nothing to add. It's completely fulfilled.
Yes,
And yes,
everything is as it is, just itself
yes.
in this fulfillment. Yes.
And what was actually I wanted to read a little bit of it, but now it was also going cross and so it
Okay.
was an upside down, so I drop it. But I
Okay.
want to put out one thing what you mentioned in this introduction about awareness, and this has the greatest resonance here. It's like you could say it's like a wearing. It's like a
Yes,
wearing. It's like an
very much.
activity. It
Yes.
felt
It's a
like an
constant. Yes.
activity.
Yes.
And this gave the answer here, or the confirmation that this deep contemplation, this ongoing, now meanwhile complete ongoing contemplation about awareness, about God, about in the dialogue, not with God but with myself. Yeah,
Mhm.
not with God, with myself. So this is such a beautiful activity. So it's so alive. It is so vivid. It's completely vivid, and it fulfills everything and gives brings all at the right place of nothingness. Nothingness.
Here
Yeah.
nowness.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Very nice.
Thank you, Rishi.
Mhm. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for bringing up this awareing, because sometimes actually I don't refer to that as often as I sometimes think it would be good to, because the reason I use the word awareing is because I want everyone to understand that it's an active, ongoing here now-ness. Here now is always here now, but there's the perception somehow that here now, here now, here now is like there's like some kind of movement that goes nowhere. Here now. Awareing is like this. Awareing is the presence which we are. We cannot see it. We simply know it to be true. It's like knowing, there's knowledge, which is the statement of facts or the statement of process, and then there is knowing. Knowing is a deep intuitive recognition of the self nature of being. Knowing is that. Awareing is also that. Yes. It's recognition of being, consciousness here now, as all of this in every moment, in every experience, in every possibility,
Yes.
and in no possibility, in absolute and complete emptiness.
And one other things I want to put out of this introduction is that if you are aware, when you are aware, it gives this freedom not to know anything, not to have to know anything at all. It's part of the email, not to know anything of all. And in the right moment, and the other aspect of awareing is just in the right moment, you know everything. It comes exactly.
Yes,
Oh, it's right.
yes,
Right in the sense of divine.
yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you so much. Leonardo,
Okay, hello, Rishi.
Logi.
Yes. So, well, throughout my life, I guess I have been attracted to different traditions and different paths. But recently, I have been feeling a bit of sense of maybe contradiction or difference in approach between, let's say, different paths. And I have two little instances that I would like to share quickly. So, number one, yesterday I was in this Dharma talk, and the teacher was putting some emphasis on engaged Buddhism, she called,
Mhm.
which basically means to actively participate in the alleviating suffering of brothers and sisters and planet Earth and like that, which it seems to me there is a certain, maybe, I don't know if contradiction is the best word, maybe just a different approach with Ramana or Advaita, which he may say, remain as you are, or let the creator look after its creation, you just remain as yourself. That's it.
Yes,
So that's number one. And number two, I was reading these Hafiz poems in the Sufi tradition.
yes,
One of the poems started, "The sun's eyes are painting fields again," something like that. So the book is full of praise and worship towards nature and the sun and the river and the gardens and like that. So then it comes like, I guess the question has two little aspects to it. Number one is, can you please comment a bit on those both contradictions, I'm going to say, that I just mentioned? And number two, would you then recommend, let's say, focus my attention and energy just in, I'm going to say, Vedanta, because I definitely feel that the Advaita Ramana and your path is the one that resonates the most in my heart? Or then is it okay to, let's say, to pick elements from different paths and kind of make my own thing? That's the question. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mhm. So, what do you feel is the goal of your life?
Thank you. That's a beautiful question. To be free, to yeah, I'm gonna just to be free to
That's good. That's good.
transcend ego, transcend mind.
Yes.
That's it.
And in your intuition, as you look at these different ways of approaching freedom, or the road to freedom, or the path, you can say the pathless path to freedom. Which of them resonates the most with you?
Yeah, Vedanta, Advaita, and you. I said it a few seconds ago. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It feels like the most direct and simple and straightforward. Just when you make this question, are you aware? Right away I feel this laser inside.
So the indication of this, what you are indicating to me, and what you can actually use to indicate to yourself, is that you are at the junction where you have the opportunity to listen to your heart and follow the way with which you feel the most resonance or compatibility. So part of doing that is to know when it's time to stop tasting other paths, and you may be there. So when that time comes, if that time is now, I just encourage you to stop comparison shopping. If it really is in your heart that you have found the way for you, then just understand that when you talk about another tradition, or you go, you listen to someone speak about a different way of being from the way that you are walking, there really doesn't need to be a comparison of this is right or that is right, this is better or that's not. It really needs to be, this is the resonance with my own being. This is the resonance in this heart right now at this moment. So if someone, to use your example, if someone is encouraging people to become involved in an active form of spiritual life that is, what did you call it?
Engaged Buddhism.
Engaged Buddhism, yeah. All you need to know is that that's not the right flavor for you, and that it is the right flavor for someone else. And that doesn't have anything to do with anything except the taste of your own being that's leading you to where it wants you to go. So engaged Buddhism is maybe not the right path for you, but for many people it is. The path of Hafiz and that kind of deep devotion is the path for another group of people, or at a certain time in their life, or in their search. But if what you feel is that remaining as you are, knowing and investigating the silence of your own being is what is true for you, then I would say stop comparison shopping. There's a metaphor that says, if you dig 10 wells 10 feet deep, you won't get water. You have to dig one well 100 feet deep, then you get water. So this is pointing us to the resonance of our own being, our own heart. And so I don't really encourage people to do too much, little of this, little of that, this tradition, that tradition, this. I rather encourage people to take a period of time, feel what is there in the heart. In your case, you're saying you are drawn toward silence, you're drawn toward awareness. So investigate that, not as better than some other alternative, but rather as just the resonance of your own being, the resonance of your own heart. It takes a great deal of courage and a great deal of patience and persistence to follow one's own heart. And to do that with the guidance of a particular path. The guidance is not there to confine us. The guidance is there to set us free. But the Tibetans use this model in their way of talking about deep concentration practice. They say, when we start, we are here. And as we feel more and more into the presence of being, we feel ourselves go like this. And then we are there in this path, and we are walking, and we are there. And then suddenly, through this pathway, we begin to see the sky again. And so it's important to know that everyone who is sincere and authentic about spiritual life has to listen to their own heart, has to come to the direct realization of, this is the way I'm going to go for now, to take that wholeheartedly, sincerely, persistently, until one can see the sky again. So
Yeah, yeah. Really appreciate it. I will definitely use your advice. Yeah. Thank you.
okay.
Thank you.
One of the things that can be said that is true about walking on this path of inquiry is that we walk along for quite a while with the feeling that we are dissolving. Our life is dissolving. Our friends are dissolving. Our families are dissolving. We walk along in this sense of dissolution. And this is part of that movement from a focus which is out there. And I mean out there, even if we're talking about teachings and teachers and, traditions and so on. When we come to the moment that we realize that for the last 5, 10, 15, or 20 years, we have been following a path, a way of being that has been so important to us. And sometimes we feel like it has saved our lives. And then we come to a moment where we have to let that path also dissolve. We have to come into the heart of being as we are. And we have to ask this question, who am I? And when we're ready to ask this question, it starts this process of dissolution. It starts this process of what Suresh was talking about, reciting from the Ribhu Gita, where we are coming to realize that nothing is real except reality. Everything else is coming and going, passing by. This is both a dissolution of the personal I, but it's also a freedom, a liberation away from all sorts of rigidity in mind and an opening into the spaciousness that truly lets us enjoy life as it is, not as we're trying to make it be, not as we're wishing it would be, we're hoping it would be, we're trying to make it be. We are here in this moment as being consciousness, that which is aware. And that in this recognition, there is joy and there is enjoyment. There is nobody to enjoy, but somehow there is enjoyment. There is nothing to become, but somehow there is being. There is no one to be, but somehow we are here. Anya, did you just raise your hand?
Yes,
Did you just raise?
I wanted to
Okay.
say, if do I have, can I speak? Didn't want to
Yes.
interrupt you, but it was just, you just spoke so much my heart, and I'm so happy that I could make it. It was difficult to join these Sunday afternoons. Well, here in Europe it's afternoon. But you just so much spoke my heart. I mean, all of you who shared, but it's like all these years of having been diving into this depths of self-inquiry, and to see that still there is an expectation of how it should look like, how Anya should experience reality as such, and it looks like well, that's not actually what I've wished for, which is here right now. But however, it is here right now, and to embrace the ordinary, and to just yeah, to embrace it and find peace and joy therein, as you said, because last couple of, or whenever I come to Germany, to this place where I've grown up, to be exposed to family members and neighbors who have no clue about in which where we see ourselves or whatever, like they really pull you down into yeah, so into ordinary existence. And then I've noticed that there has been um yeah, like a sadhana, and I found that this is really wiring me up. It's putting so much strain on my whole nervous system. And then again, putting something on top. Okay, who is seeing that? I mean, how much can we traumatize ourselves just because of holding on to this idea how it should look like, and how we cannot accept what is so? So I'm congratulating myself to having made it to our satsang here, and just a moment to tune in. There was such a homecoming and joy and ease.
Beautiful. Yeah, very good. Very nice. It's good to see you.
Just wanted to share my heart.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I think it's always really good to, when somebody makes a comment like that, just to really point out in a very direct way that there's a big difference between doing sadhana and being. Being is what you naturally are in this moment. Just be aware of it. Everything will unfold as it wants to and as it needs to. Bhagavan Ramana never encouraged anyone to change anything about the way they were or the way they are. He said, when things need to change, they just change. And if you find yourself in a certain circumstance, because people used to come to him all the time and say, I can't stand it. I have all this responsibility. I have this job. I have this family. I have this wife. I have this house. What am I to do? I just want to go sit in a cave. And he said, just ask who you are. Don't change anything. Just ask who you are. Allow the circumstances of your ordinary everyday experience to teach you, to show you this is who you are. Don't go searching, for some idea about who you are. Keep quiet. Find out who you are. Once you begin to really take this teaching to heart and you are become completely willing to be nobody while still observing, still participating, still acknowledging the presence of others, but not being willing to judge yourself or them, not being willing to believe that you are not the self. Once you take this stance, things begin to change very quickly around you. You come to see that you have never made a mistake. There has never been anything wrong. You have always been walking step by step into the heart of being. This is what you have been doing. You have been guided in every moment of your life to this moment, not to another moment, not to some moment you imagined, to this moment. Do you trust that? All right, my friends. Very nice to see you all again. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your comments. So happy to be with you all in the heart of being. Hari Om Tat Sat. Be well and happy.